So after I was cutting that agate slab into pieces, I got a bunch of questions on how it naps. And I thought it was pretty common knowledge that this stuff doesn't nap very well at all. I thought everyone had tried it, since you could just go down the store to Michael's or Hobby Lobby or something and buy some agate slabs. It's one of the first things I've tried. It does not nap well at all. Just if you don't know, in a raw state. It needs a lot of heat. It's probably Brazilian agate, right? So it needs 600 degrees or more, which means you'll need to get a pottery kiln, which means I don't have one. Okay? Now I know you can get a turkey roaster up to about 600 if you stack the turkey roasters one on top of the other. I haven't done that yet. I'm probably not going to do it because it'll burn everything down with my luck. So I'll wait to get a kiln so I can heat treat this properly. But just so you know, this stuff naps really badly in a raw state. These slabs, they might look really, really pretty. And if you're one of the lucky ones, like one in a million, that has a store that offers slabs that are easy to nap, this is not for you. This is for the 99% of us that when we get a slab at the store and break it, or do the cutting method that I showed you, it naps like crap. Okay, so just to give you an idea, I'm going to do a little bit of indirect percussion on it and then some pressure on it. Okay. It does fracture similar to stone, which it is a stone, but it doesn't fracture like other agates or flints or cherts. Why? I'm not sure, but it probably has to do with the structure, the crystal structure, which makes it pretty and transparent. That type of thing also makes it difficult to nap. It's like a quartzite in its nappability difficulty. It step fractures where it shouldn't. It kind of rips through the material instead of flowing through. Most flakes, the fractures will flow through the material. This requires a lot of force, and as it goes through the material, it just rips through it. It doesn't produce a smooth contour. Okay, I did this earlier with indirect percussion and pressure. I set up some better platforms than what I have here. Okay, if you some of you guys were excited to see an arrowhead made from this as soon as possible. Well, I'm not going to make an arrowhead out of it in a raw state because it would look really bad. And if I were to nap this in a heat-treated state, it would look just like glass. So either it's an extremely good glass-like state or extremely bad. In both cases, it's not good video content because it's already been done. You've seen the bad stuff napped, and you've seen the really good stuff napped. This is not anything that is eye-opening, except for the fact that if you don't know that it doesn't nap well in a raw state, then maybe you'll be surprised. But usually I'm the last one to know. I've known this for a long time, that these slabs need to be heat treated. I knew that before I knew what heat treating was. I just repeated it, like a parrot. Oh yeah, it needs to be heat treated. What is it? I really don't know how to do it course, I found out later, and I heat treated a lot of my own stuff. But I heat treat the Texas stuff that requires low heat. This requires high heat. Okay. So no, I'm not going to make an arrowhead out of it because it's not going to be very exciting for you or for me. I'll be struggling with it the whole way. You cannot run long flakes unless you're the 1%. Or let's say 1/10 of 1% who can run long flakes on this. Okay. Then yeah, there are exceptions, but for me, I am not going to be able to run long flakes on this. To show you how it looks like to nap an arrowhead out of it in a raw state. Okay, I think I've repeated myself a bunch of times on that one. This other piece I'm going to discuss is a mystery stone. I've never seen anything like it. I didn't know what to make of it when my friend Lonnie sent it to me. Right? He said it naps. I said, okay, I'll take your word for it. Just looks like a piece of limestone to me. I didn't tell him that, but it just looked like a piece of limestone when I got it. So I just set it in the yard and said, okay, I'll get to it when I get to it. It's got fossils in it, which is kind of cool. Right? And then I started hitting on it today. And this is the weirdest stuff I've ever encountered. I mean, really, it's really weird. You hear that? It's a limestone. It has a slight ring to it, and it has a hardness to it, like it's a porcelain. But it's light. It's kind of lightweight, and it's kind of crumbly. But it does fracture with conchoidal type fracture. And it looks like it can be napped. But it's the weirdest stuff, like I said. Now, do I think real artifacts were made from this? Well, I don't know because I haven't napped a real artifact made of this stuff. It looks like you can make something out of it. Because you could pretty much make something out of anything except chalk itself. This is not chalk. This is like a silicified limestone. It is a limestone because it has the limestone fossils in it. But it's not powdery. It's actually flaky. Almost like seashell. Of course, it is made from seashells, but this looks like it has been silicified or transformed in some way to be harder and more flaky than regular limestone. I've never seen anything like it. And maybe this stuff is common. If it is, and you guys are napping it out there, and you're thinking this is chert or something like that, I'm not aware of any chert like this. And you might be saying, oh, I'm napping chert and I can't do nothing with it. What's going on? You might be napping this stuff. This is not chert. This is a silicified limestone or something like that. Or maybe there's a technical name for it that some of you guys know. I don't know what the technical name is. I didn't look it up or anything. I didn't do a search or try to figure out what it's actually called. But to sharpen this stuff is going to be difficult. It can be napped into a rough shape. Okay, so if some of you guys are actually napping this and thinking this is what napping material is, and this is good to nap, you have no idea what you're missing, because this is not good to nap. This is a scale. This is a 1 on a scale of 1 to 10 as far as nappability, and maybe a lot of you guys have this in your area, but it's the first time I've seen it, And it's really, really strange. Let's see. Hear that? It does clink. I've never heard a limestone clink like that. It's really funny. Now the edges dull really easily, kind of like any other limestone or ceramic material, low grade ceramic. It does crush like a low grade ceramic, like I'm napping a pot for planting. You know those red clay pots, those planters. I've tried napping those. It's like napping a clay, like a fired earthenware container. That's what it feels like, or a brick. But it has like sharp edges. It feels like you can nap it. It does respond. It's a better than zero as far as nappability goes, but this is nowhere near what chert feels like, or with anything else that is usually napped into an artifact back in the day. If they were napping this into arrowheads or knives or tools, I take my hats off to those guys, because without the steel that I'm using, if I had antler to do this, it would be tearing the antler to pieces, because it is sharp, right? I do feel a prickly edge. It is kind of sharp, but it crumbles, right? So you got to hit really, really hard, and that's the formula for dulling your antler tools. If it's extremely hard to flake on, because you have to hit extremely hard, and it gets kind of sharp but crumbly, sharp and crumbly, and difficult to run flakes without lots of power. That's the formula for dulling your tools, your natural material tools. It feels like a very good abrasive, so I would use it as maybe as a sanding tool. Yeah, it's very abrasive, so I would use it like a sandpaper. Let's see. I can't tell if I'm getting dust off of this or not. I'm going to try to put it in the light. See if you guys can see any dust flying. Yeah, I can see some dust coming off. Yeah, there it goes. So it is working as a braiding stone. Yeah, as an abrading stone, it's fine. But as a napping stone, I don't recommend it. Although it is interesting. Would I half that and then throw it at an animal? No, probably not. I could make a much better point out of a piece of bone, for example, and then use this as the abrading material to shape the bone with. I'm not making fun of the material, I'm just evaluating it. If it was used in the past, like I said, it would take a lot of trial and error. I can tell there's different consistencies just in the same area, and there's fossil inclusions which causes it to flake in a weird way in some spots. I see that was a fossil there and just kind of popped out. If you want to shape the edge, yeah, the only thing you can do really is just trim around it. You can't really run thinning flakes. You would have to start with an already thin flake, semi-thin, and just trim around the edges. Okay, so if you have this material, I'll repeat it one more time. If you have this material and you're thinking this is what chert feels like, No. This is not what chert feels like. This is not what nappable material feels like. This is what clay feels like. Fired clay. It's not something you normally would nap. Now, if you guys have never napped a clay pot that you buy at the hardware store or at the depot stores or whatever, go buy one. It's only like what, $2 for a little one? Just break it apart and try to nap it. It will respond to your napping tools, right? But it'll nap like a brick, just like this stuff. I'm getting some cuts off the aluminum here. Okay. I was spalling a bigger chunk of chert today, and I guess I mushroomed the tip a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I'm using metal on metal because this is very difficult to blast through. Yeah. You can blast through it, and I'm not saying that it's impossible. It's better than 0, but it's like a 1 or less, a 0.1 as far as nappability on a scale of 1 to 10. But yeah, you could half that, I suppose, and make a rudimentary knife. Even hold it in your hand like this. The edges theoretically should be able to cut a little bit. It would get snagged if you were trying to cut through a hide, but through through a muscle, it would probably work. Yeah, just through some muscle, you could probably cut the meat into strips. But you need something else to get through the hide, because this may not work. All right. Let's see what else. I think I have a lot of other rock challenges. Let me see. Yeah, I'll do some more rock challenges here in a little bit. I got some more. I just don't have them readily available. Okay, so that's it for this one. Short video. Okay.